Most people grow up believing a simple rule that feels unquestionable. If you earn more money, you will be safe. A higher salary is supposed to mean stability, freedom, and peace of mind. And for a while, this belief appears to work. You get a solid job, your income is higher than anything your parents ever earned. And from the outside, your life looks successful. You have a career, a routine, and a level of comfort that signals you are doing well. Yet beneath that surface, a quiet tension remains. Despite the good income, you feel one missed paycheck away from stress, one unexpected expense away from anxiety. This is where the misunderstanding begins. A high income feels like security, but it is not the same thing as financial safety. Income only exists as long as you continue to trade your time, energy, and performance for it. The moment the job pauses or disappears, the money stops immediately. That makes income temporary and conditional. Wealth, on the other hand, is built to exist without your daily involvement. It is money that has been saved, invested, or set aside in a way that does not depend on clocking in every morning. Wealth remains when income does not. Many professionals today earn salaries that place them in the top income brackets of their countries. Yet, they live with constant financial pressure. The problem is not how much they earn, but how dependent their entire lifestyle has become on continuous income. When every bill, obligation, and commitment requires that next paycheck, even a large salary becomes fragile. True financial security is not defined by how much you earn this month. It is defined by how long you could survive if the income stopped. When you understand that difference, success begins to look very different. Security is no longer a paycheck. Security is the ability to live without urgently needing one. Once you understand that income alone does not equal security, the next question naturally appears. If so many people earn good money, why does it still feel like nothing ever accumulates? The answer lies not in how much money comes in, but in how it leaves. Modern financial life is structured in a way that prevents you from ever fully experiencing your income as a whole. Instead of receiving your money and consciously deciding how to use it, most of it disappears automatically through a series of small, normalized expenses. Consider a professional earning a strong salary. On paper, the number looks impressive, but before that money ever feels real, it is already divided. Rent is withdrawn. Transportation costs are accounted for. Food, utilities, insurance, subscriptions, and everyday conveniences quietly claim their share. Each expense feels reasonable on its own. None of them feel excessive. Because they are spread out and recurring, they blend into the background of daily life. This fragmentation creates a powerful psychological effect. You never feel the loss of a large sum at once, so your brain does not register that most of your income is already gone. You do not feel deprived. You have a place to live, food on the table, and access to comfort. From the outside and even from the inside, it feels like prosperity. But in reality, you are barely breaking even. The danger is not discomfort. The danger is comfort. Comfort stops questions. When life feels manageable, you do not stop to ask why nothing is being saved or why wealth is not forming. You assume progress is happening because life looks stable. This illusion keeps people focused on maintaining their lifestyle instead of examining the underlying numbers. Over time, fragmented spending turns a strong income into a cycle of movement without progress. Money flows in, money flows out, and nothing remains. You are busy, occupied, and functional, but you are not moving forward. This is how the illusion of prosperity quietly replaces real financial growth. Once spending becomes fragmented and invisible, something else begins to happen almost automatically. As your income increases, your lifestyle quietly rises to meet it. This does not feel like a mistake. It feels like progress. A raise arrives and suddenly, a better apartment seems reasonable. A promotion comes and upgrading your car feels earned. Each improvement looks like a reward for hard work, a sign that you are moving forward. This is what is commonly called lifestyle inflation, but most people never experience it as a problem. It does not feel forced or reckless. It feels logical. You are not overspending compared to your peers. You are simply adjusting your life to match your new income. The danger is that these adjustments rarely happen once. They happen every time income increases. Over time, nearly every additional dollar is absorbed by higher recurring expenses. Rent increases. Insurance costs rise. Monthly payments expand. What was once optional becomes mandatory. The new lifestyle sets a higher baseline that must be maintained every month. Slowly, the gap between income and expenses closes again, just as it did before the raise. This is why financial stress often remains unchanged, even as income grows. A person earning much more than before can feel just as trapped as they did at a lower salary. The pressure does not disappear because the structure stays the same. More income simply supports more obligations. From the outside, it looks like success. From the inside, it feels like running faster to stay in the same place. The system benefits from this pattern because it keeps people dependent on their salaries. No matter how much they earn, they still need the next paycheck to sustain the life they have built. Lifestyle inflation does not make people irresponsible. It makes them predictable. It turns raises into commitments instead of freedom. And without realizing it, many people trade higher income for deeper dependence, believing they are moving up while remaining in the same financial position. As income rises and lifestyle expands, a quiet shift takes place. At some point, the job is no longer just a source of money. It becomes the foundation holding everything together. The apartment, the car, the commitments, and the routines all depend on that income continuing without interruption. This is where the illusion of success turns into something more restrictive. This condition is often called golden handcuffs. From the outside, it looks like achievement. The salary is high. The career path is impressive. The lifestyle signals stability and progress. But inside, the freedom to choose begins to disappear. Leaving the job no longer feels like an option. Taking risks feels irresponsible. Even imagining a different path creates anxiety. Consider someone earning a strong income in a competitive industry. Over time, they commit to a larger home, multiple monthly payments, long-term contracts, and family responsibilities that all require consistent cash flow. None of these decisions feel wrong in isolation. Each one feels like a natural step forward, but together, they create a structure that cannot pause. When stress appears, raises and promotions feel like relief. For a brief moment, the pressure eases, but the relief does not last. New expenses emerge. Costs adjust. The lifestyle expands again. Financial stress returns to its previous level, even though the income is higher. The problem was never the salary. It was the lack of flexibility. True freedom is not about status or the size of a paycheck. It is about having the ability to walk away without everything collapsing. It is about choice. Golden handcuffs take that choice away while making the situation look desirable. They reward commitment to a system that quietly limits movement. At this stage, many people mistake endurance for success. They keep going not because they want to, but because they have to. And that is how a high-income life can quietly become a financial cage. Once golden handcuffs are in place, the final layer of the trap becomes clear. When your expenses fully depend on continuous income, you are no longer operating from choice. You're operating from necessity. This is what living paycheck to paycheck truly means, and it happens at every income level, not just low ones. When there is no financial buffer, every decision becomes constrained. You cannot afford to upset your employer. You cannot afford to experiment, to pause, or to take meaningful risks. Starting a business feels dangerous. Investing in your own ideas feels irresponsible. Even leaving an unhealthy or unfulfilling situation feels impossible. The paycheck becomes the single point of failure in your entire financial life. From the outside, this condition is easy to miss. The lifestyle looks stable, bills are paid, responsibilities are met. But underneath that appearance is fragility. If income stops, even briefly, the structure begins to shake. Many people discover that they could not maintain their current life for more than a short period without that next payment arriving. This reality creates predictability. When people depend entirely on their paycheck, they become cautious and compliant. They choose security over growth, stability over independence, not because they lack ambition, but because the margin for error is gone. Survival takes priority over long-term thinking. This is why the situation can feel deceptively comfortable. Needs are met, life continues, yet comfort masks dependency. What feels like safety is actually exposure disguised as stability. You are functioning, but you are not resilient. In this state, freedom is postponed indefinitely. People tell themselves they will take risks later, when things are more secure, but without a financial buffer, later never arrives. This is the comfortable prison, a life where everything appears fine, yet every major decision is quietly controlled by the need for the next paycheck. After seeing how income can feel secure but remain fragile, how spending becomes invisible, how lifestyles expand, and how dependency quietly forms, one truth becomes clear. The salary trap is not a single mistake. It is a system of habits, incentives, and assumptions that feels normal until it is examined. Escaping it does not require dramatic action or quitting your job overnight. It begins with awareness. The moment you clearly separate income from wealth, your perspective changes. Income is what keeps life moving today. Wealth is what gives you options tomorrow. Once that distinction is understood, the focus shifts from earning more to keeping more, not through restriction, but through intention. The most important mechanism is the gap, the space between what you earn and what you spend. This gap is small at first, and that is fine. What matters is protecting it. When income increases, the gap must increase as well. Instead of disappearing into lifestyle upgrades, that gap is not meant to fund more consumption. It is meant to build resilience. Redirecting that gap into savings and long-term assets changes everything. It turns effort into stability and time into leverage. As a financial buffer grows, something shifts psychologically. Fear decreases, confidence increases, decisions become clearer. When you know you could survive without immediate income, you negotiate differently, think longer term, and act with more control. True freedom is not about how impressive your income looks. It is about how little pressure your life is under. Needing less creates more power than earning more. Optionality becomes the real goal. The ability to pause, to change direction, or to walk away. Once you see the system clearly, you cannot unsee it. But awareness is not meant to create fear. It is meant to restore agency.